everybody. I want to say thank you so much for coming out and watching. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. I appreciate that. We are in Flushing, Queens. I know I kind of gave you some clickbait, and I said it was A.O.C's territory. It's really not. It's kind of ish. It's close to it, but it's actually not. But it still is cool. I'm glad you guys are watching. We are outside and more than 6 feet apart, so I'll be removing my mask. I'm being good. When I bring up our speaker, he will also have a mask. He's 6 feet from me now. We'll be good. I'll swap it out. Why in the world am I here on a beautiful evening in Queens, New York, with the cool globe in the background, right? Of course. Why am I here? Because New York City matters. What happens in this city, what happens downstate, what happens in Queens, Long Island, what happens in New York State will eventually get to the rest of this nation. We are the battleground state. If we can make change here, we can make change anywhere. This is the year that we have to vote gold. This is the year that we have to make change. And one of the biggest reasons is this is the year when we need actual answers. And we have every other candidate doing this. I'm not him. I'm not her. Therefore, vote for me. That cannot be the case this year. You hear everybody say, oh, it's the most important election ever. They are correct. It is. So you have to vote gold. This is the election where you've got to vote gold. You've got to vote libertarian. You have to build the party up. It's critical. In New York City, if you look around now, where I live in Queens, I don't live in this part of Queens, but I live in Queens. I can walk down the main street and see 4 stores in a row. For sale, for lease, for rent. For sale, for lease, for rent. That can't be our future. But you know what actually still is kind of going? McDonald's, Wendy's, KFC. So wait a minute. You mean the chains still go? Yeah, because chains are big business. Big business is surviving this economic crash. Small business isn't. Small business is our neighborhood. Small business is our community. And the only way we grow our community is by growing our small businesses. We have to have people who will actually support small business, who will support our local communities. We're not finding that. But I'm very lucky today. So are you, by the way, because you're watching, and all you came out here. I have a candidate here who is going to talk to you about how we can make change and make something work here in this state. He's running for Congress, and his district covers Long Island and Queens. So that makes him kind of a city guy. Yes, I've decided he is. I decide that. So I've decided that he is. Man is going to be talking to you right now, running for Congress. Give him some love. Howard Rabin.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry Sharpe, for helping us organize this, and thank you all for coming out and supporting us this evening. As Larry said, I'm a libertarian. I'm running for U.S. Congress. I have affiliated myself as a libertarian, although we couldn't register with the party when I was a younger man. But since 1980, when I was in college, I have felt akin to freedom and what our founding fathers supported for us and what we've lost in our country. When I was a young boy growing up, I grew up in Elmont, which is not very far from here on the Nassau-Queens border. My district here runs from Queens actually to Suffolk, and it's a very diverse, and I'm going to use the word gerrymandered district.
Yes.
This district was put together to keep certain people in power.
Yes.
And we have a representative now, Tom Suozzi. I'm sure Tom's a good man. Tom went in.
Sure.
Well, I'm going to say I don't like to talk down about others. I like to talk about myself and why I'm the better choice for this office than Tom. Tom went into the family business. His dad was an attorney. His dad was the mayor of Glen Cove. He was a lifetime politician, as he had an uncle also in politics. Tom's been not in Congress, but he's been in Congress. This is his 3rd run there. But he's been in office in different political positions for the past 25 years. The only time he wasn't working in politics was, I believe, his first year out of school. He worked for a accounting firm. He's got a degree in accounting and law. So he's got smarts. He's not a dumb person. I have mutual friends with him. I've spoken to them. They've told me he went into the family business. That's what he really wanted. He he not the rainmaker his father was. He's got a nice pension at this point. I'm not running to do this for money. Why am I running for U.S. Congress? I grew up in the area. I grew up with a free spirit, and I was introduced to somebody that was a city boy. So I appreciate that. I'm akin to people in the city, but I'm also a country boy. I grew up in the woods. In the summers, that's where I spent my time. I spent summers at the Boy Scout camp with Camp Kunata with the New York Council, as a scout leader and as a scout. I'm running for Congress because at this stage in my life, my children are grown. My youngest daughter got married this past year. I've made a fair living. I'm not a wealthy person. I'm not doing this for money. I won't be bought. I'm not interested. It's not my motivating factor. The things that motivate me are seeing my children and my grandchildren and your children and your grandchildren live in the type of free society that made America great. So the type of the first issue that is very close to my heart is we need strong term limits for all political office. It is not right, and it wasn't meant by our founding fathers to have people spending their lives getting huge pensions, making more than the people that they're working for, and going to Washington and staying in Washington. I don't plan to do that. I've lived my whole life here. I plan to continue that, but I will give a few years of my time to help make our country better. I have a close friend from college that did exactly that. She was an attorney in the Philly area, and she is not in our party, but she is doing exactly that. I have a lot of respect for her. Even if I don't agree with the things she does, I believe she's got a good head on her shoulder and is doing what she believes best for our country. And that's where I'm coming from. And you're not going to get that from a career politician. If you have career politicians, they're interested in one thing. They're interested in increasing their power and being reelected in the next election. I don't care if I'm reelected ever. I would like to be given the opportunity to serve and help to expand our freedoms. So when we talk about expanding freedoms, the other issues that are akin to my heart all have to do with establishing freedom. Now, an iconic monument for New York and the United States is the Statue of Liberty. Yes. Now, many of you have been there. I don't know if many of you will recognize this quote, but you may not know where it came from, but I relate to it. It's, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send those, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. The United States has been a golden door to people seeking freedom since its founding and even before its founding. And when we have politicians that want to close that door, and most of us are descendants of immigrants, most of us are not descendants of American Indians. I have a lot of respect for American Indians. I love their history, but that's not who I am. I'm a descendant of European Jews that left Europe and their lives were saved by this country because they were able to come here. And I owe something to this country, and I want to help give back. And closing our borders, the people that deserve freedom and an opportunity to live free lives is something that we all owe to them. And we owe it to ourselves because it makes our society a greater society. I'm not saying that anybody should violate laws to come in. I'm saying that we should have some vetting. But on the other hand, we shouldn't have walls up. We shouldn't have, we should welcome people with welcome arms. When we believe they're here to work and they're going to make a living and take care of themselves and their families, they want the same things that you and your parents wanted. These are the type of people we want as our neighbors. So this is one thing that's important to me. And in establishing this freedom, it's also important that we open the free market. We live in a country that has boasted a free market economy, but it has not, unfortunately, been such for well over 100 years. A free market economy doesn't regulate every industry. Here in New York, in 1950, there were approximately 30 professions that could be licensed. Now, there are over 1,700 licenses in New York. If you want to work as a hairdresser, you want to cut somebody's hair, you might have done it in another country, you have to be able to take their test, you have to be able to take education courses, and you have to pay the state money to do that. Now, why can't I have somebody that I want and trust that does a good job cut my hair? What does it matter to me if they have a license? And we have over 1,700 barriers to people making a living. If somebody is good at their business and you're willing to hire them, you should be able to give them a chance. And that's freedom. We lost that. We have to get that back. That's one of the reasons I'm running for Congress. That's why I'm here. And that is why I'm asking you to vote for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Howard. I think if you watched him and you listened to him, you could see the passion that he had in what he was trying to achieve. If you're in New York, if you're in Queens, if you're not in Queens, doesn't matter. You can head over to Howard Rabin for FOR, USCongress.com, and support him if you can. If you can throw some money his way, click that donate button. Give him some cash if you've got it. If you don't have it, no worries. He also needs help. He needs volunteers. He needs people to be his social media warrior. He needs people to spread his word across the internet. He is running in a gerrymandered district, and he wants impact. If you want to have a man like him make some impact, head over to Howard Rabin for USCongress.com. Give what you can give to get this man up and running. He needs money for Facebook ads. Yeah, he does. He needs more signs, door knockers, and hangers, and all those kind of good things. So throw him some cash if you can. If you can't, no worries. He does need help. Even if you're not in New York State, I don't care. Doesn't matter. You can still help him out. Share, share so that people see. Remember something, guys. We have hundreds of candidates running across this state. It isn't just red or blue. It isn't. It's red, blue, and it's also gold. Why? Yes. Thank you, guys. It's also gold. Yes. Why in the world would you want to vote Libertarian this year? Because you've been voting red or blue for the past 40 years, and look at where we are. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. But Larry, if I don't vote red or blue, then the other guy will win, or the other gal will win. Odds are no. You heard what Howard said. You're in a gerrymandered district. Where do you know who's going to win? It's already, the fix is in. It's been in forever. So how about instead, vote gold and let them know they don't own your vote. They think they own your vote. And as you keep voting the same way every single year, you are reinforcing that belief. You are reinforcing their bad behavior. He talked about something passionate to him. He talked about immigration. Have you found anyone in the past 50 years with a real answer to fix immigration? Of course not, because neither side actually wants to fix immigration. It's a perfect wedge issue. All they do is go, I'm for the wall, I'm not for the wall. Great, now I know what side you're on. I vote for you. You don't have to do anything. You can be a horrible person, but you either want the wall or you don't, and I vote for you. That's not how this is supposed to work. How are we going to make change? How in the world can we make change if we just decide, oh, someone wants the wall or doesn't, therefore they're my guy or my gal? That has to change. Howard's out there trying to make things change. There are literally hundreds of us trying to make things change. This is our year. What many of you have heard me say, and I'll say it again, whether Trump wins or whether Trump loses in November or December, whenever they figure out who won or who lost, it doesn't matter for one important reason. there is going to be tens of millions of unhappy Americans. If Trump wins, it'll be the left. If Biden wins, it'll be the right. But there's still going to be tens of millions of unhappy Americans either way. And if there are that many unhappy Americans, where are they going to go? We already have unemployment issues. Our streets in certain cities are already burning. And the two big parties are fighting over who will rule the rubble, who is going to control the ashes. How about instead, when those people are unhappy, we give them a place to go? And that's Libertarian Party. Howard talked about the idea of freedom. And what is freedom actually? Is it letting people go crazy and do whatever they want? No, it's about allowing individuals to be as liberal or as conservative as they want to be, just not forcing your view on others. That's it. It's literally that simple. Just don't force your view on others. Be as liberal or as conservative as you want to be. The problem is, here's what we're scared of. If the Democrats win, then they'll push their agenda on me. If the Republicans win, then they'll push their agenda on me. How about a libertarian wins and no one pushes nobody's agenda on anybody? How about that instead? How about nobody pushes their agenda on anybody? It's a much better way of making our country grow. And ask yourself the most important question. Everybody who came, and thank you all for coming, everyone who came and everyone watching now knows, without question, we are more divided than we've ever been. Who's going to heal the nation? Biden? Trump? Neither of them is going to heal this nation. They have no chance. All they're going to do is dig in deeper with their own. Both of them are. They've been showing us this for decades. The only group, the only movement, the only party that is actually saying we can talk to both sides, we can actually make policies that will work and fix these wedge issues, is Libertarian Party, is the Liberty Movement. That's it. No one else. And the example I'll give you is already what happened. The death of George Floyd. When George Floyd was murdered, the right went, back the blue, all cops are perfect. The left went, cops are evil, defund them all. That was it. That was the answers. But who had an actual answer? Our one libertarian congressman, Justin Amash, had an actual answer. He said, why don't we start by ending qualified immunity? Let's start with that. That's an actual policy change. Yes, thank you. Then he took, what he do is he went over to Republicans and got some to sign on. Oh my God, he crossed the aisle. And does it all of a sudden get pilloried and destroyed? Then he went to Democrats and said, well, some of you blocked back it. And they went, yes. It was the first tripartisan bill ever. Democrats, Republicans fought together by libertarians with an actual plan to make some change. This is not just me talking trash. I often talk trash. But this is not just me talking trash. I actually have evidence of this actually happening this year with a tragedy that happened in our nation, an actual answer. If you want more of that, you have to vote gold this year. You must. It is the only way this party grows. It's the only way this movement grows. It's the only way we'll have real answers. And Howard's in the front line. Again, it's Howard Rabin for uscongress.com. Help him out. Guys, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. Any questions or comments that I can take? You're riding away on your bicycle. I'm taking questions. He's done. Bicycle guy left. It's fine. Anybody else? Yes. He gave thumbs up, so I guess we're winning. Any questions or comments? Please go ahead.
Please comment on the fact that gold this year.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yes. The most people get upset and say, Larry, why in the world are there not why are there not more than two parties? Right? Can people not get together and make more parties? Absolutely. The problem is ballot access. What does that mean? It is hard to get on a ballot. They will stop us from you even having a choice or an option. For those of you watching, or those of you out there who are the Democrats or Republicans, you should know something. Every single year, your party sues to throw people off the ballot. Let me say it again. Every single year, if you are a Democrat or Republican, your party goes to court and sues people to get them off of the ballot. Why? Because they can't dare have anyone else on the ballot but Democrats, Republicans. How do we fix that? By getting enough votes. So thank you, Michael. Yes, by getting enough votes. In New York State, we require 130,000 votes or 2%, whichever is higher. So we need about 150,000 votes that we will need this year so that we can be on the ballot. So you can have a choice. So all of you can have that option to vote gold. Because the most important reason to vote gold is to make better Republicans and better Democrats. That's the reason. So for those of you who are watching, we're not going to turn your party libertarian. Please become libertarians. But even if you don't become libertarian, no worries. You probably want better Democrats and better Republicans. Well, if only thing your party has to do is go, I'm not that guy. That guy's shady. I can tell by looking at him. He's shady. So I'm not that guy. If that's the best they can do, then you have a bad party. You have a third opportunity. You go, I'm not that guy. Well, then they pick that guy instead and we both lose. It's not going to work. Now I have to actually have policies. I've got to actually help you. I've got to make something happen. So thank you, Michael, for that question. We need 130,000 votes, guys. Voting gold this year matters. Any other questions or comments? Please.
How many terms would you limit yourself to, Governor?
I'm not running for governor right now. We're here to talk about Howard. So thank you so much. And Howard already said he doesn't care if he gets reelected. But Howard, I do. I want you to win and get reelected. So I'm greedy. I want more than just 2 years out of you. So I'm sorry. If you win this damn thing, I'm gonna bother you and make you run again. Just so you know. So yes. All right. Any other questions or comments? Go ahead, please. No, I love it. Great question. I love it. And what he asked is, the lesser of two evils. Right now, my vote is being thrown away. Are you a New York resident?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Okay. For those of you who live in New York, like me and this gentleman here, and many people who come in, in fact, I think everyone here who came as their president, we don't get to pick who becomes president. We don't get to. Our vote is going to Biden no matter what in New York State, right? If you live in Oklahoma, Trump gets your vote. That's how that works. So if you live in New York State, California, whatever, you don't get a choice. So if you vote red or blue, you are throwing your vote away. So vote gold instead and teach them that they should pay attention to us. Because if there's a third party, they will have to pay attention to us. So the only vote that isn't a throwaway vote is a gold vote. That's it. Absolutely. Did I answer your question?
Oh, perfect.
Thank you. Good. Any other question or comment? Guys, thank you so much for coming. I'll stay around if I want a selfie. I'm really handsome. So if you're trying to pick up chicks, you can do a selfie with me, and the girls will get jealous. It'd be awesome. Or guys do. Hey, no judgment. Guys do. Guys think I'm hot too. All good. I know you all think I'm smart, but I'm not. I'm just attractive. So feel free if you want to do selfies. I love it. Guys, thank you so much for watching.